Wearing the tartan kilt and standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, he weighed in 19 stone 10 pounds or 276 pounds. From Glasgow, introducing Jay the Ghost McFarlane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Open Mat. We are joined by heavyweight Scottish boxing legend. Jay McFarlane. How you doing?
Face.
So
The face of Scottish boxing.
I remember
Face of the scheme.
I remember the very first time I met you, because we've done a few back and forwards with regards to sparring. I've came and trained with you. We had the same boxing coach at one point. Done a few good rounds. I remember you put me doing my body shot. Do you remember that day? Do you remember?
I'm a nasty cunt to
I know.
body.
I'll tell you another story. I'll tell you another funny story. But one of the things that I remember was there was a guy called Jay, and he's the youngest heavyweight ever. And it was you.
I was.
I think somebody
You must have been about. You must have been about 20 when we first started coming in sparring.
I must have been.
Maybe even younger, to be fair.
I turned pro at 18, but I was untrainable. So I think Lawrence Murphy was about my 6th coach and 5 fights. So I was fucking nobody wanted to train me.
You were a bit of a grumpy cunt that day, like. I mean, you've been a bit stroppy.
Probably. I would have probably been rough. That would have been the trouble, wouldn't it?
One of the first few times I sparred with you, Lawrence was in we were in MTK, and Lawrence was calling me, and it maybe have been Joe who was calling on you. Is it Joe?
Joe, oh fuck knows. Probably somebody.
Right, so
Probably one of my many coaches.
and we tangled up and I threw you.
The first ever time I was on the canvas was Paul Craig.
I had my judo through.
My legs get swept.
Aye, so
what the fuck is going on here?
So I went back into the corner and Lawrence fucking ripped into me. He said, "Don't you fucking embarrass me like that again. He's like, you're fucking out of order." And I said, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "I didn't mean to throw him." He's like, "I know you fucking did." And I was like, "Sorry." And he's like, "Don't ever fucking do that again. Embarrass me in my boxing gym again." I was like, "Sorry." But that was one of the first few times we'd sparred. We had some good back and forwards. It was.
I just remember some of the mad shit you used to do. Like, what the fuck is this? What is happening here? He's just jumped up behind me and Superman punched me. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I had no skill with regards to striking, so I was learning for you. And then there was some times I took some absolute belters for you. And then Lawrence would drag me up to spar with Gary Cornish, and
Gary Cornish.
there was like a whole host of guys. I would like, we're going up here to spar this guy today. And I'd be like, fucking hell, man, give me some.
They just get bigger and bigger.
I know.
I was alright because we were about the same size.
But there was one guy. They were like, he was a lot lighter than me, and he was like, he's only like, because you were cruiserweight, weren't you? No,
back then I was still heavy. I was cruiserweight for 20 minutes.
Were you?
I was cruiserweight for a weight cut. I weighed in at 14.4 and walked into the ring at 16.5.
I'm sure he was at welterweight. Boris the Blade.
Boris Crichton.
Aye, so he's like, Lawrence is like, I was going to get a few rounds with him.
The boxes look wilder.
And I'm like, right. And I was like, how many pro fights? And I think he'd maybe only like one pro fight offending. And I was like, all right. And I was like, what about amateur? And he's like 30 odd. And I was like, Jesus. And he just moved. He doesn't hit hard. But what he does, he's very good at moving. And when you're a guy who's a bit heavier and you're up against a guy who's a lot lighter, he just moved so well.
No, I know. I've been on with Boris before. Boris was a good guy.
Aye.
I never done it as a pro. I don't know. I think it's just not doing enough, not throwing enough punches, which is strange for somebody with a good amateur career, because it's the complete opposite with amateurs. You need to be punching constantly, even if your punches are shite and it's fucking rock'em stock and robots. Fucking that Mike. Rock'em stock and robot stuff, you get scored more than if you're the nice, neat boxer and you're moving well. And then when you turn to pros, it changes. But I'm just surprised I never done anything. I think they cut that.
What was the route into boxing? Why boxing?
Oh mate, I was 13 stone at 8-year-old. I was like Channel 4 fat man. I was a wee fucking like that man.
Did you see some pictures of that?
I don't even have got pictures. Don't think I could fit in the fucking camera screen. I was a wee fat cunt, man. But I played football. But I played in goals, so I didn't run about anywhere. And then it was my auntie took me down, her pals' kids were boxing. She took me down there to go and try it, and I fucking fell in love with it straight away. First night I was in, 8-year-old, and I ended up sparring because he thought I was another kid that was in. You're not meant to start boxing till you're like 11, 12. Definitely meant to not start sparring anyway. And he thought I was a different kid that was at the gym that he used to have. and he put me into spar straight away. I took a fucking beating. But there was just one wee bit at the end. That boy was 15. There was one bit at the end, and I just moved it the way, and I caught him with this just wild swing, and it was just like a wee spark. Then it was like, oh, I fucking love this shit.
Aye.
I can make them miss, and then I can, you know what I mean. And that was it for then, and fucking never missed a night after that.
Once you've taken that first few beatings, basically, be it in boxing, jiu-jitsu, and you've taken a few good ones, your face hasn't broken, you're like, right, this isn't the end of the world. I can actually keep going. And as you said, you caught that bug.
I was just for 8-year-old, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And obviously, when you're saying that, when you're like 8 through to like 14, and you're saying, but no, what are you going to be when you grow up? I'm, like, I'm telling you, I'm going to box. And your family's like, no, fuck, I go and get a trade, go and do this. Don't be so stupid. How are you going to box? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm going to box. I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and fucking, here I am.
Walking out in front of Madison Square Garden.
Fucking hell.
You've had some big highlights, mate.
I have, mate. I was actually going to make a highlight reel video, and I realised it will be about 10 minutes, and it's only wee tiny clips. I've actually done more than a lot of people in the sport, regardless of fucking how I've treated the sport, because I've not treated it with respect. There was a reason that people were calling me the rock star of boxing. You know what I mean? Turning up to fights rough or half cut or fucking came home for a case, you know, at 6 a.m, I'm fighting on. No, I mean, I'm fighting in Hydro.
Would you change any of it?
No, I wouldn't. I would have changed it when I done it. But why the fuck did I do this? I've been beat off guys that are pish. Like they're nowhere near. Like if I had them in the gym and I was sparring with them, they wouldn't get near me. I would use them as sparring partners, and I've ended up fucking
dancing about them. Absolutely,
I've got beat off them because fucking.
That's a horrible feeling after.
It was like because I wasn't. See if I tried my hardest and I done everything, I was beat. I tried and I done it, but I think I probably used that as like a defence mechanism, and done that and never trained properly, never done anything right, and that would have been because of that, because I can always say, I didn't actually try, did I? You know what I mean? They never beat the best me. It's like Rangers every season. It's not the real Rangers, you know what I mean? But fuck it, but that's what it's like. It's just
self-sabotage.
It is. It's because I know I can use it as an excuse. Well, I wasn't at my best, was I? It's not like I actually trained for it. If I trained for it, it wouldn't have beat me. But because
some people just have the skill. Some people just have it in them, and they don't need to train. And
well, I got to a certain point with that, you know what I mean? But then it gets to that point, I took it too far. And it wasn't just that I wasn't training, it's that I was turning up rough. Or fucking the fight I had in the Hydro, I was meant to be just before the main event. I was meant to be in the venue for 5. All the doctor's checks were meant to be done. We were meant to be sitting waiting until 6, and that's when we start getting ready. I turned up to the venue at 7:05. Nobody knew where I was. I was fucking hanging, man. Turned up 7:05. I had to go to the bar before I went in because my head was splitting, and ended up being the floater. So I ended up because I wasn't there. They changed the schedule of the night because I was meant to be before the main event. And I ended up being 2 before, I think, because it became the floater. So I walked in, got my hands wrapped. When I got my hands wrapped, his coach came in and was like, oh, we never watched you wrap his hands. We need to watch you wrap his hands. So I had to take the wraps off, put them back on, never got a warm up. I had a kilt that didn't fit me. I bought a kilt online and just went, oh, fucking 5XL, I'm fat as fuck now, because I was about 135 kilo or something. I was getting a 5XL, didn't fit, had to tape it up. Fucking, honestly, mate, absolute shit show. But see, when I went out, unbelievable. Because all the crowd was behind me. Because I'm just that guy for the scheme, do you know what I mean? I'm just that normal person that's going to try and achieve something great. Whereas there wasn't that connection with the guy I was fighting, Nick. They never had that connection with him. He's more like, he was a rugby boy and, you know what I mean, boat story, all that kind of stuff. Probably people, yourself.
People like that. People like the story of the underdog, don't they? They want the everyman to do well. And
it was just when I walked out, man, it was because I was just like,
what was your
on
song?
A warm summer's evening, on a train bound from nowhere, and the crowd started singing it, and I was like, whoa, fuck me, man. I started getting a semi. You know what I mean? Like, that's the wrong fucking attitude for me getting into a ring here. Loved it.
Was that one of the best places you've walked out?
100%. I was a bit Madison Square. I walked out to the bagpipes in Madison Square Garden and all that, but I had, 30 people there. You know what I mean? And the American crowd cheered me on because everybody's Scottish. We had a guy stopping in the street. 6'6" big black guy, and he's like, yo, my grandpappy's Scottish. It's cool. And I'm like, is he? Aye, that's good, mate. Fucking
He's McDonald.
I know. But it's everybody's Scottish or they're Irish or you know what I mean.
It's a cool adventure you've been on, like with regards to like going to all these places, getting to walk out in the hydro, getting to represent Scotland, wear your kilt, wear your face paint.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest things.
Because it's fucking that's one thing we share. That is the face paint. I love it. I always change. You did the classic Braveheart, but I always change it. I do different colours, and I love it. It puts the fear into people.
I know.
It proper does. Like, we look at it and we go, it's gimmicky. You know what I mean? Because it's fucking.
I didn't feel it as gimmicky. I do feel there's a bit of tradition with it. I do feel there's a because like, why are you so heavily tattooed? Why we're off? Why do we do that?
We're pics.
Just I don't know. There's just why, like, Craig, why are you so heavily tattooed? It's just part of. And we go to other places and people aren't really like that.
No.
Like, it's quite normal for us though. Like, tattoos on your head and face, it's not a big deal here.
No.
I see loads of people with it now. I don't know, I just think it's part of our thing, the blue face paint, tattoos, it's cultural for us. So I don't think gimmicky, mate. I think that's...
But see if I was fighting you and I turned up with a face paint and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, man. You
No,
know
I've got to do it.
Like when we look at it, like as Scottish to Scottish, we go, all right, mate, cool, Braveheart, cool, mate, whatever. But when other people see it, they're like, fuck. I thought, it was, honestly, this is probably one I ended up getting beat. I get beat on points, but I fucking dislocate, my thumb came right out the socket. See, when I pulled the glove out, I seen the thumb stretch and pop back in. It was disgusting. I dislocated my shoulder a week before. I was fucking mad about the week before when I dislocated the shoulder. But I fought in Rome against Guido Vianello. It was his homecoming. He'd never fought in Rome. It was a massive event. But see, when I went, this is probably one of the best moments I've ever had in boxing, because it was like Rocky IV. So from the start, it was Guido, and they're all banging. Do you know what I mean? They're fucking flipping their pizzas and all that, shouting and bawling, booing me when I came out, and I was like, oh fuck, man. Guido expected to wipe me out in like a round, and I actually, the only round they'd had me done winning was the first round, but won the first round, and then he started like proper laying it on me, and he was putting everything on me, and there was one point I stood down, and I just laughed at him and smiled, and he hit me with a 1-2 straight, like boom, boom, and then he stepped back and hit me with another right hand. I'm like, let's fucking go. Started shouting, but towards the end of the fight, it was getting like the 7th and 8th round, they started going, Jay, and it was like, whoa, fucking hell. This is wild. I fought till exhaustion that fight. See, when the bell went, I went down on my knees and I was like, oh, fuck. I'd never worked that hard in my life. But that was one of, the change in that crowd was one of the best moments of my whole career. You know, it was fucking wild.
It's a sport.
Wild. And then after the fight, it was like one of them, the cat came in, they'd seen 3 different versions. I came over with my hair braided, because it was the whole Viking theme I'd done for that. I had the big fur pelt and the first shorts. And came in with the hair braided. And because it was that hot over there, man, the bands and the braids burst. So I was like fucking like Davy Jones at the back. He was just like these tails off flipping it like that. So I let the hair down for the way in. So I had long hair and it was all hanging over my face. And obviously I had the paint on and I looked like a fucking crackpot. And then the day after I was like, well, I can't fight with this. The hair's like fucking have pure fanny fringe hanging on my eyes, you know what I mean? So I went and get it shaved. So the whole head shaved. And then you see all the tattoo like on my head and the top, you know what I mean? The top of my face. And walked into the ring, big fur pelt and the first shorts, and I think they were looking at me like, who the fuck is this cunt? But after the fight, when we were heading back to the changing room, Guido just walked through the crowd and went back to his changing room. I didn't get out of there for another 2 hours. Everybody stopped for pictures and fucking...
That's good, it's a good feeling.
I was like, whoa, fucking hell, man, I just get beat. After your hometown hero, and it's me you're fucking want to talk to.
But they're there to be entertained as well. They're there to see a show, and obviously people. That's what you're giving people, eh?
Well, that's it, mate. I'm more an entertainer than I'm a fighter anyway, because I don't show much of the fighting side of things. Apart from look, you've seen me in the gym how I box. I'm like a classy boxer. The way I actually move, and I'm slipping, I move shots,
it's beautiful to watch.
It turns up fight night, and I'm like gunslinging for the hip and fucking.
So why is that?
Fuck no, it's because I've not trained.
But why?
It's just defence. It's that thing again of, I don't think I trained, so I've got the excuse of I never trained, that's why I get beat. Because if I trained as hard as I could and I did get beat, it would have been I just wasn't good enough. And I don't like that excuse of I don't like saying that I'm not good enough. I think that's deep down, that's what it is. That's what a wise therapist said to me at one point in the Levendale.
What, that you don't like getting...
It's that I don't want to admit that I'm not good enough, so I don't train.
But could you not reframe it so that like the other guy was just better on the night? Because I've lost to people 100% should have beat, and fucking no lie, sat through the back and cried my eyes out. And see, having to say to yourself like, we are better than that guy, but you want to be better than him that night. That's quite hard as well. But obviously, I wasn't doing what you were doing. I was still telling myself I was training hard, but I probably wasn't. I probably wasn't doing what I should have been. Like I have gassed out and lost a fight before. It's fucking horrible, mate. It is horrible. And like you said it right at the start, it is shite being through the back and knowing a guy better than you beat you. Okay, it's fucking awful, actually. It's
shite. It's worse.
It's worse. It's worse. See, if I could have just went out and just got KO'd, I'd be all right with that. I'd be like, well, fucking just caught me, dropped me. But like to actually go through the rounds and then lose, and you're just like,
the mind in this sport is
know
so
your
fragile,
fucking friend.
It's so fragile. Something as simple as just a comment that somebody makes on social media, or a comment a commentator makes, and it can crumble your world right the way down. It's have you ever used any sort of like mind coach, any sort of sports psychology, any sort of therapy? It was one of the things that made a huge difference in mine, but it took a long time to implement it. It maybe took something like 4 or 5 whole fight camps before I actually felt the benefit of it, because it's not one of these things where it's like, oh, I've started speaking about my feelings and all's good, let's go out and have a fight.
You get worse first, like
you have to go into the reeds, basically. You have to go into the deep water.
I thought this is not as a slur because I know I'm in trouble for this, but I thought it was gay to do it. I thought it was gay to go to sports psychologist.
I was literally just about to say where I'm from and where I come from, which I keep forgetting is not where I am now. You know what I mean? But that's 100%. Feelings gay.
I know.
You know what I mean?
What's wrong with you, like? Sports psychologist, what's up with you, like?
Talking about feeling, shut up.
You need to get off the drugs. That's how it is.
That's where I'm from, but I keep forgetting it's not where I am now. It's just what I'm from. You know what I mean? And I keep forgetting that fucking I've evolved and I'm no there anymore. I'm not in that place anymore. I'm out boozing in parks, you know what I mean?
But you're still relatively young in the world of combat sports and heavyweight combat sports.
So definitely.
A lovely segue. Right. You've had some bad news.
I have had some bad news. So over the past few years, I've had it probably started in that fight when I was shouting and bawling at Guido to keep hitting me and I was screaming at him. It probably started in that fight, but I did detached retina and I ended up in a hole in my macula. And I never told the boxing board about it. So my last fight that I had, bearing in mind, I had that last fight because I got myself sober. I was 8 months sober. I got myself clean everything.
You were in good shape as well.
I was in fucking great shape, man. The best shape I'd been in.
How much weight did you end up losing altogether?
5.5 stone. I was.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I think it was 147 or 148 kilo. I thought I boxed at 110.
That's impressive.
I weighed in it. And I'd ate before I done the weigh-in and weighed in, and then, you know what I mean, it wasn't like I done a water cut, you know what I mean? You don't fucking do a water cut of heavyweight. That's where it becomes a different sport. But so bearing in mind that was the situation for that fight. That was the first time I'd fought in, it was 13 months. It was the first time I'd fought in 13 months since I won my Scottish title, because I technically retired. I just said, I'm not going to do it anymore. I keep turning up fucked, no training, hungover, and I'm just getting by. Don't get me wrong, I won that Scottish title, but I'm going to get fucking hurt. I'm going to get hurt at one point. It's just a bit of an epiphany moment. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then I got myself sober for a couple of weeks and started punching the bag in. Went, why the fuck did I say I'm retiring? And that was an 8 month journey. I coming back and fighting again. So that was the whole backstory of why I boxed with one eye. You know what I mean? But I didn't tell the board because I know the board wouldn't have let me. The board's now had my medical report. The medical report's got all like the timeline of when things happened, and they've revoked my licence off me. So even though my surgery that I had there was successful, I've just to get the second surgery. So they basically put a silicone oil in your eye, and then the next surgery is just to take the silicone oil out. But they've said that it's repaired and it's healed, and they'd be happy for me to box now. The only problem is I can't see, but the board have already taken my licence because I never. It's obviously with their insurance, because I could have turned around and said that happened in the fight and sued them, which I didn't do. You know what I mean? But I think
probably should have.
Aye, so because I never told them, I think is why they're being so arse about it, but they've taken my licence off me. But over the last few years, I've had an interesting offer that I was wanting to take, but I still wanted to see how far I could go in boxing, and that's from the BKFC. And I wasn't going to do it.
It's got you written all over it.
It does.
You're an entertainer.
I know.
You can shoot for the hip. You've got power, and you've got the skill to outbox these guys.
Well, that's a fucking shallow gene pool. See when you watch some of them. Some of them look like they're out in a bar fight. It's like the hands are here. But don't get me wrong, the fucking hands there's not going to do much when it's that coming through on you. It's not going to do much anyway, but the hands are like this. Boxing there, like, as a technical boxing side, I think I know I would be getting in there straight away to number one in technical boxing. And toughness, I think I've proved that I'm about the toughest guy. I just came for a bus full of junkies for Glasgow City Centre to Wishaw with a cowboy hat on and a face that looks like a school desk. You know what I mean? That's a hard cunt. And my fucking wumper stompers, you know what I mean? So there's so I'm a hard cunt. I can box. It just makes sense. But they've been contacting me for the last couple of years, and I just wanted to see how far I could go with boxing, because you gave me a price a few years ago and it wasn't really as good as what I would have been getting. Boxing was like, am I really going to risk?
It's got to be worth your while, because like you're going to take some fucking damage, eh? To just put it bluntly, bare knuckle boxing, you get cut to bits. So you're going to get cut to bits. You're maybe only going to get one fight a year. You're going to end up with a couple of hands like tatties, eh? So how many times a year can you do it? So you've got to get enough money, eh?
Especially at heavyweight, you know.
Aye.
But then the style you box in is very evasive. Well, you do in the gym is very evasive. So if you can get that to transfer into an actual BKB scene or bare knuckle boxing, whatever organisation you go with, and you're slitting these shots and delivering your own shots, you're not going to get marked up.
Well, that would be the plan, wouldn't it? But
And what we're looking at, 5-2s, 5 2-minute rounds.
is that what it is?
I think it's 5-2s, mate.
I'll do 5-2s.
Honestly, I'm sure it's 5-2s.
I've done 10 threes fucking hungover. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's 5-2s they do.
That's wild.
Getting that opportunity to box in
That's
it.
5-2s.
And they only do a sixth if it's a draw.
Actually, because I was telling you on the way over, I think that's what I'm going to do. It was just when you just convinced me. I've already messaged.
Bring up some BKFC heavyweights, Craig. Let's see who we've got here.
Here we go.
Is it BKFC? Aye.
Tell you who'll be the star in it in maybe a year's time of that, if he's still boxing, is Sean Turner, because I know Sean. He's big sexy.
Is he Scottish?
No, he's Irish. Right. He was a good pro, but he's very much like me. Didn't take it seriously, but he can box.
Is this the one Conor McGregor's involved with? Aye.
That's the kind of thing that's putting me off.
Is Alvarez isn't heavyweight?
He's in a bit of heat than isn't he?
I think this is just a whole roster. I don't think this is differentiating. I think they're
Ben Rothwell's definitely in it. Like,
would you change up your attitude towards this, or would you just go in like the wild card? Or would you like, right, I'm going to, you know what?
I would change my attitude because my face is going to get cut to bits.
That's what
or, because you said it there, you're much better than the guys anyway, mate. Why would you need to train?
Well, that's it. I mean, because
you can be your own worst enemy.
For entertainment purposes, I'll just get cut up to fuck. I don't mind it for you, you know what I mean?
As long as the money's right and you're in there and having these gunfights, and that's absolutely fine. But you've got to think about your longevity within sports, of combat sports.
100%. I want to get into the
well, you think about
size modern or something after that as well. So
you think about Mike Perry when you look at his MMA career, and it was a very good MMA. It was a very good MMA career. It wasn't like it was terrible, but it was just fit for bare knuckle boxing. What organisation was he was fighting on?
He's BKFC.
Is he still BKFC? So he's fighting, and he was fighting UFC, reasonable record, and then went there and he just absolutely starts everybody.
He's the star. He's the man.
He is the man.
Right.
And it's one of these things where you could bring it to Glasgow. You could be the off the back of you.
They were in Marbella no long ago. They did Marbella, no far for you. But his son, be all right.
I fucking hate the sun, man. Mate, I'm built for the snow. I'm away to Iceland next week. That's my missus Icelandic. I'm away to Iceland next week for Christmas and that. And she's adamant that I'm not taking shots with me. Because the last time I was in Iceland, we were in a lava cave and it was -5 and I had shorts and a t-shirt on. The Icelanders, they were there with like fucking scarves and gloves on and fucking wee mittens and all that. But And I was cutting out the shots and there was like steam coming off me. I'm like a fucking radiator. That's why I was dying. See, when I fought in Rome, it was 35 degrees. And then like even through the night, it was still like 31. And it was like, I couldn't sleep. Aircon wasn't working in a hotel. So I was conspiracy theory at that point. So I was like, it's all planned. They've done this to me on purpose.
It wouldn't be the most controversial thing to happen in boxing, to be fair.
Fucking no.
Would see when you look at the way boxing's going at the moment, as a athlete of the sport of boxing, how do you think it's moving forward? Because for us looking in as non-boxers, we're like, it's going in a terrible direction.
I think so, mate. See, at first, see the stuff with Saudi, it was brilliant. Because he plays it like a fucking video game. He's got that much money, it's just, I want him to fight him, so they're fighting. And then the problem is always how much are they getting paid. It's like, whatever you want paid, you're getting paid, there you go. There's fucking...
That's why
two versions for you as well. They just do what they want. You know what I mean? It's you get paid, that's that fight. And he sits there like playing a video game. It was great, but it's completely taking it out. Completely taking it out of the UK, and it's taking it out of America, and it's going to end up just being set over there because he's the only one that's paying the money. Nobody can match the money, and it's over in Saudi. So who's going to Saudi? I'm not going to Saudi.
I'm not going to Saudi.
They offered me fucking 15 grand for a fight in Saudi, and I was like, "Are you fucking joking? I wouldn't even take 15 grand to go there on holiday. It's too fucking hot for me. You know what I mean? You want me to go there and fight it was Moses Italma, you know what I mean? Which is, they're saying the next Mike Tyson. Like 15 grand for that. I was like, hey, it's out, fuck. You know what I mean? It's meant to be the Saudi money.
Right.
But people are going to hear that.
Zero on that.
People are going to go, 15 grand, that's loads of money. Aye, but years come off your life, mate. Like, if you get knocked out, even just getting knocked down. So I was talking about with a Fury Usyk fight about to come up. Like, these guys have lost years off their life having these fights. Like, Deontay Wilder is fucked now. And for 3 fights with Tyson. Like, he's not going to be the same man. How much money do you need to have that cut down? Because it's going to be.
This is what's interesting about the rematch on Saturday with Fury and Usyk, because how much is Tyson Fury lost? But you're saying that he took a beating for basically a full fucking round, stayed on his feet, and then came back stronger. You know what I mean? So he's a bit of an anomaly, Tyson Fury, but I know exactly what you're saying.
I just think
much does it take away from you?
There's only you can only get hit in the head so many times before you just can't anymore. Like, we've seen it in the MMA world. Alistair Overeem was a great MMA fighter until he just started getting dropped with jabs. Like, just boom, down.
There was one I was watching. Right, I was just watching a clip of him. I don't know, but is this him punch drunk? Was this his normally? I can't remember his name. I think he's a Brazilian guy. He can't string a fucking sentence together. He's made into like a meme.
Oh, Tito Ortiz you're talking about.
That's the one. Is he punch drunk? Is he just...
I don't know if he does it for a laugh.
Both.
Aye, I don't know if he does it for a laugh, but there is times he says stuff and I'm like,
he's just out there reaching for them grapes, and I was like, what the fuck is
he was married to that Jenna Jameson, the porn star, and that.
Was he?
Aye. He's had a good life, aye. He's had a good life. I think he's made a lot of money, but he's fucking disabled, eh? Like, how much money do you need to be like that?
I know.
It's
what about the world MMA? And especially at heavyweight, when you look at the pool, you're interested in bare knuckle boxing, sorry. What about MMA? Not a lot of guys are grappling, and I know wrestling is something they would utilise. It
was one thing I thought about before, because I know the heavyweights don't roll about with each other as much.
No.
You know what I mean? I know you're obviously... In fact, you could do it middleweight. Fuck knows how you make that.
I know. Tough work. It's a tough old slog.
That's wild, man. I don't know how you make that. Fuck, I was... Because we're the same size, I was struggling to wonder how you were making... Was it 93? Is that what it was?
Elite heavy.
90?
93 was.
93, aye.
I was struggling. I was wondering how the fuck you're making that, because it's not like you've got a lot to lose. You know what I mean? You've not got weight to lose. It must just all be the water. But aye, obviously you grapple. You know what I mean? And you fucking... All that fucking Bruce Lee type shit up and all that. But they don't do it as much in the heavy. I was thinking that. But what they do is kick. And then obviously for 4.5 years ago, I got stabbed in the leg. I've got a hole in my left leg, and it's obviously never been the same. So that's why I don't move about as much on my feet as I used to, and because I was always quite flashy footwork and I was dead light in my feet, but I became more of a kind of battering ram after that happened.
How did it happen, if you don't mind me asking?
Fucking big drug deal gone wrong, man. I was just involved with bad shit, and I was trying to, bizarrely enough, try to clear debts so that I didn't need to do it anymore, so I was going to go on the right path. I went down there and I was living with, he's actually fighting on this undercard, Dave Allen, the White Rhino.
I seen that. I remember when he was up in the gym training with you. I seen he was in Saudi.
You and him are quite tight, eh?
Aye, we were. I was fucking living with him, but after that happened, I was like, well, I need to go home, man. I'm basically a fucking squatter in your house at this point. I can't walk about, and so I was living down there, but I still had debts to square up here, where, because I was fucking mixing in with bad people and selling stuff and doing that kind of thing. But thinking I was making money when I was spending more than I was making, sniffing more than I was making, selling 2 ounces, sniffing ounce, you know what I mean? One of the kind of deals. And
usually how it goes.
It's always how it goes.
Very familiar.
See, when you love it, you can't be involved. It doesn't work. It's like fucking being a fat chef, you know what I mean? You keep cooking and keep eating it. You're just going to you're going to end up dying at one point because you're just eating your own fucking spoils. But so I was trying to clear it. I was going to take stuff up, and it turns out the whole job was a setup. So I ended up with fucking shotgun sitting there. And I found something out about myself at that point. I'm a fucking crackpot. I'm a wee bit no right, because I was shouting to the guy, just shoot, because I didn't know where the money was. I go, fucking shoot, I don't know where it is. And the guy I was with ended up knocking him out. So there was 5 of them. One of them with the shooter. Shitty selling hit me with the butt of the gun, because I think it's just fucking when he's just asked me to shoot and it's not happening. So he hit me with the butt of the gun. Then it was 2 bats and 2 swords. So I've got a big scar on the side of my head, and I've got done my hand, crossed my fingers, and because I was just making sure I didn't touch a money maker, you know what I mean? But I was just doing that, and they knocked him clean out, and they sliced right across the back of his head. It was fucking disgusting. It's like a drap lasagna, you know, that's what it was like. A fat bird's fanny. But what I was saying, man. But it was just horrible, right? And they were just kept hitting me with the bats, but I wouldn't go. I'm, again, a tough cunt. I wouldn't knock me out, so they've tried to start the car, because I think they were going to steal the car, and no money's in the car, and Papa was out. So I managed to get the door open, and managed to get my seatbelt off. I tried to get out. As soon as I got the door open, big sword through my leg, man. That was me, and I fucking remember chasing them like, there's the Vikings. Remember Ivar? I ended up chasing them up the street, like crawling across the ground, man. I ended up with like, fucking cuts on my fingertips.
Dragging yourself.
Trying to drag myself. I started walking, and I just went, whoo. And I fucking, don't know what one of the most wild situations where that was. So I'm lying there thinking, fuck, I'm bleeding out down a random street in Balby in Doncaster. And I just seen that. It's funny, right? Because I see the police cars coming in up, and the ambulance coming down, and there was this big light, and I'm like, no.
That's
Is
it.
that me? It's time. It was a fucking TV camera. I swear to God, right? There was this thing called Blast TV. We ended up telling them the footage is not getting used. They said, oh, we'll blur your face. I'm like, there's only one guy with green hair with a Scottish accent that's in Doncaster. You know what I mean?
Covered in
Covered my
tattoos.
face, covered in tattoos. Like, there's no many is floating about. But I ended up fucking, I got my lawyer to speak to me, and they never ever used that. I never gave them consent. But I seen this big light, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, no, this is my time. And then I noticed it was a camera, and I went, get out my fucking face. So they were trying to film us before the paramedics would get to. The paramedics are standing behind them as they're going like this and coming round me. So I slapped the camera, and then the thing I was most concerned about was my hand, because that's fucking where I make money. I was like, get my fucking hands fixed, and they're like, looking at my leg, because it was an actual hole, you know what I mean? And that was what they were trying to fix. And I pushed the woman's horn away. I've done that and pulled it back. I was like, fix my fucking horns. As I was bleeding out.
Lucky, man. You're damn lucky, is what you are.
I fucking am. I'm really lucky. Like in the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean? I've got a big fucking scar down the side of my head. Barely noticeable scars on my hands, and a hole in my leg, but I could have bled out at that point. I don't even know where I was in that conversation, but I ended up just rambling on a lot of shit.
Not at all, just go. This is your pod, you're the guest here. We're here to listen to you.
Should probably just write that down and make it a movie.
Oh, fuck.
Then you're sitting in press conferences talking to Eddie Hearn.
See, that's the thing. People say to me a lot, like, it's something I should do, is
write your story down, man.
Write that story as a move in my life, but it would need to be like a saga, because there's so many fucking bizarre situations that I've been in. I got another one with that stabbing. So all in, I had 13 stitches. It was on Friday the 13th. See, the number 13 pops up in my life all the time.
You've got a few 13 tattoos, eh?
It's bizarre how much it pops up in my life. It was Friday the 13th. I got 13 stitches, and then there was a strike day 2 weeks later when I was meant to get them out. So I ended up getting them out 13 days later. Just fucking
13's your number.
just a wee bit. See the reason I got it tattooed. The reason I got it tattooed was so that every time I look in the mirror, it reminds me not to gamble, because as my roulette number is about black 13, it fucking doesn't matter how much the spin is, there's always double or triple and black 13. But when I look in the mirror, it says E1, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll go to casino. But you know what I mean? It's fucking, that was the reason I got it tattooed at first, because I was a bad gambler. But since then, like even when I went to fight in New York, I was meant to be there on the 12th, and that was meant to set off all the media stuff. There was a snowstorm, so I had to go the day later. 13. I couldn't make it. It was the 13th I went out there. Just fucking.
It's crazy how fighters and they're very superstitious. There's certain things. Like mine's is 27, and it's the exact same thing. It always seems to follow.
See what I always start to think, but is that, does it actually come up, or do I just
look for
it? Aye, that's it. Do I look for it?
I think they come up, eh? I think they come up and we just go, that's it.
Aye,
that's what I was looking for. And we spot it, and then we go, fucking, it's got to be fine. That's the other one. That's perfect. It's here. I know, fucking hell.
But no, you should definitely, like, some of the stories, and then you should definitely look at writing them down. Mm-hmm. It's a crazy adventure you've been on. Mm-hmm. There was that point where you were, it wasn't F1. What's the one below it? You were dealing with F1?
No, it was F1. F1 I technically, I never had any money. I technically owned
an F1 car?
I technically owned 3.5% in an F1 car and couldn't afford to go to any of the races. So it was a sponsor that I had, and it was a mad guy. It was William Story, he was called, and
do you know when he sponsored a podcast or that?
What was it? Was it an energy drink or something we had?
Aye, it turned out a lot of it wasn't his money. But there was a lot of stuff going on. He, as a person, he was a great guy, you know what I mean? But there was just a lot of kind of fugazi and kind of con man-esque stuff that was going on.
Yep.
And were you sucked into that?
No, but I was invited to the launch of the car, and it was a black and gold car. It was the first time it was done since, I think it was John Player Special, was that right? The old cigarette.
I'm not sure.
No,
I know nothing about it, mate.
But old cigarette. I think it was the first black and gold car for then. The car looked class, so I was down for the opening and that. So I've actually got like there's a wee snippet of me for Netflix, because I was in watching the car. Probably the rest summer to this, and amongst loads of suits. But so he gave me 7% a rich energy. I never ever got anything from it, but he gave me 7%, and it was written down that I had 7%, and then he owned half an F1 car. He owned 50% of that, so technically I did own 3.5% an F1 car, but I never ever got to go to a race. So
I remember when this was coming about, I was like, because I'd say to you, I was like, you get yourself in some fucking places, and he's like, just a likeable guy, that's what it is.
I don't know what it is, mate.
But you've done this just by accident, because you're saying yourself, even with the boxing, not really training, not really trying.
End up
box at Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. Box at the Hydro, box in Rome, box some of the best in the world at heavyweight.
Scottish titles.
Get yourself in these positions.
It just happens.
It doesn't just happen. Well, do you know what, mate? I do believe it does just happen, eh? I do think for some people it just does happen. But does that make you think, like, what direction are you going in now? What are you doing now?
Well, I'm training armies for kids and stuff for now, but I'm not done myself. It's that I've always got that after a fight. I go into a kind of downward spiral, and I call it what now syndrome. After I fought, I'm like, what the fuck did I do with myself? I've been training. When I had been training, I've been training like what, 2 or 3 times a day. I've been in the gym non-stop. I've only been thinking about this fight. I've only been doing the fight. The fight's done. What did I do now? So it's always what now syndrome, I call it. And what I do is
walking out syndrome.
What now?
Wanting out syndrome.
What now?
What now syndrome? Sorry, right.
It makes sense. I get like that as well.
Because I always imagine it like this big peak, boom. Because the fight's over now.
It's the biggest crash you'll ever get. But then again, with adrenaline, you just know yourself. There's no drug that gets you higher than that. There's no drug that gets you higher than a crowd full of people shouting your name and being under the lights and
you're fighting and you're winning, mate, and you're getting your hand raised.
There's nothing that's even when you don't get your hand raised, it's that way. Like you're there. You know what I mean? You're entertaining people love watching it. You know that you're doing something that
The man in the arena.
that people aspire to do. You know what I mean? And you know you're inspiring other people to do it, and there's nothing that gets you higher than that. But the crash is fucking ridiculous, man.
And it is the same as if you win as well. The crash is still the same. Like a crash might even come sooner, at least with the pain of the loss. It haunts you for a bit. It haunts you and you go through these motions of like, I should have done this. Whereas the win, it's you hit it and then it's straight the way down.
I think as well, when you lose, you're like, right, I have to go back to the gym now. Like but I won my last fight and I've don't know. Like I don't know. That's just it's a weird thing, but I can tell with what you're saying there, you're not happy what you're doing now.
No.
Coaching the kids, this is.
I'm enjoying that. I'm really.
I didn't mean you're not enjoying coaching because I'm absolutely all of us love to give a wee bit back. But what I mean is that's not enough.
No, you're a fighter.
That's not enough.
It's not for I've got so much more to do. It's not enough for me now because I'll get to the point I'll go, I could have just done one more. But then I can also get to the point when I'm sitting in a fucking chair and I'm like, why did I do just one more? You know what I mean? I'm fucking getting wheeled about.
Do you worry about that being hurt?
No, particularly. It's the one thing.
Because we know it can happen, That's the thing. We're all aware it could.
I've got that big fucking square head that I know I've had 24, 25 pro fights. And I know out of just the pro fights, I don't know about amateur ones because you don't really keep up to date with your amateur fights. But I know out of that I've broke at least 12 hands on my head. So
people hitting you.
I know I've got that big hard head, so I'm not worrying about it as much with that. It's just not wanting to take it too far, you know what I mean? Because I still have got a life. It's just.
Have you noticed any like decline in your mental cognitive ability? Like I notice I'm getting a little bit slower, and I notice a little bit of rat. No,
never. No,
your age as well is on your side, though. When you're in your 20s,
I'm still only 26. You know what I mean? But I know that. Even though I look like I take a lot of punishment, I'm clever enough to roll with punches. When I get hit with something that looks like I've been hit with a good shot, but that's because I turn my head with it and move back. I know that I've not took the punishment that I know a lot of people have taken that haven't even looked as if they've taken the same punishment I've taken.
Do you know who I think is a good example now is Derek Chisora? Like, see, watching Derek Chisora, you're like, fuck, man, is somebody going to tell this guy he's tough enough? Yeah, because he gets hurt, Like every fight you watch him, you're like, this guy's fucking unreal.
See the thing with Derek Chisora.
You've sparred with him,
I've not sparred with Chisora. No, that's one of the ones I've not sparred with. I was meant to at one point. I can't remember who it was I was fighting. I think he was meant to fight Andy Ruiz. I think that's what it was. And I got offered the sparring and I was going to take it. But I think that was that happened with Tyson Fury as well. It was meant to be Fury Ruiz and it ended up in the Wilder fight, but I had people contact me about sparring for it.
With Fury?
But that's two of the ones I never sparred with. Or I never sparred with Joshua either, but I sparred with loads of the other names. See, like Daniel Dubois, I sparred with him. I got it better than Daniel Dubois for 3 rounds. And then the fucking hangover kicked in, he punched my cunt in, man. Fuck me. His jab is unbelievable. And I was actually, at one point, shit myself for the right hand coming. The right hand was nowhere near the jab. And I was like, all right then. And it started being a bit of a gunslinging match. But I was too awkward for him. I think it was 2 or 3 rounds. It was just far too awkward.
How is the sparring with these type of guys? Is it is it close to a fight? How close to a fight would you say it is?
Because they're paying you. Because they're paying you, they've got full reign to do what they want with it. But a lot of people see it's just my style. It's not a disrespect that I box my hands down or I'm always dipping my head and I move back. I look away or I walk away. It's all smoke screen and mirrors. It's distraction stuff. I look away because I know my distance and I know I can flick something when I look away and I can keep walking. But they see it as a disrespect because they don't realise it's just I'm fucking
and they're paying you.
You know, they see it as a disrespect. Well, fuck this cunt. He thinks he's better than me, and it's not about that. It's just the way I box.
Do you feel like you've got
I'll walk away and I'll do that and I'll look away for him and they can look at what the fuck's he doing and I'll flick away, you know what I mean? I'll flick away jab and he'll go back and they'll be like, who the fuck does this cunt think he is?
And do you have to tone it down a bit because they're paying you?
Well, no, I don't. I just be myself. You know what I mean? This fucking.
Do you feel like you could go in and beat them though? In sparring?
Some of them that I've been in with, I know that I could have beat. I know that not even with the sparring. The sparring, they want you to be as competitive as possible. And and you know that you've gave them a good spar when they invite you back. Like David Price, if you remember David Price, 6'9", fucking monster. I was with him, ended up having me living, and there was a Hilton in Liverpool. He was paying me well as well. And he had me living there. It was 7 weeks I was living there. It was like, I loved the sparring, and I would, just because we had that mutual respect, I was like, right, well, I'm not going to arse about here when I'm doing this. Don't get me wrong. He was paying me £500 a week, and I was in a suite in the Hilton in Liverpool once, so I was out all through the week, and then I was getting spam him rough, you know what I mean? But
how many rounds a week are you having to give him?
12 rounds a day.
12 rounds a day.
I'd sparred with him 3 times, so you know what I mean? It was 36 a week. It wasn't like 100 rounds you were doing, you know what I mean? But it's good rounds, so it was actually fighting my mate Dave Allen, but it was before I had actually met Dave Allen. But he gave me a bonus once he beat him, because I mimicked Dave's style for him. So I kind of just rolling there and boxing there. I'd done that for the 12 rounds. I'd look the shots over the top and work to the body the same way that Dave does. And I mimicked that style, and then he had me doing, and then I like the guys like Martin Piccoli. I've done loads of rounds with Martin Piccoli.
And is there still not like an avenue for you to make money as a sparring partner, or is it just no?
There is, but when you see, because in boxing terms, I won't be as relevant because
you're not boxing.
I'm not on that box rec site anymore. I've no in the rankings anymore. I've been taking it. So it's.
Does that lose your credibility?
He's active. Well, would go for the guy that was active but wasn't even active when he was active? You know what I mean? We'll go for the guy that's probably sitting in a random gaff in Castlemock now, pulling out Spider's legs till the next bit comes. You know what I mean? It's like, no. But that's because of the way I've treated the sport, that people know who I am and what I'm about. But
you've been open about it as well, though.
No, I've been open about it. Of course I have, because I don't really want people to make the same mistakes that I did. You know what I mean? There's a couple of years of my life I don't remember. You know what I mean? I was in about at one point I was having to go to the Levendale twice a week, the mental hospital. This was actually when they diagnosed me with ADHD. They originally thought it was paranoid schizophrenia. That's fucking how much I jumped that was for just being ADHD. But it was because of PTSD when I was younger. When I was really bad on the drugs and stuff, I would have psychotic episodes and I wouldn't remember things and wouldn't know what I'd done. There was one point I remember I took my mate's car because we were out. I think I was, at this point, I was about 10 days awake and there was no mixer in the house, so took his car to go and get mixer, and I've been sitting there and I've pulled up and I'm like, fuck, Paul's beside me, Paul's fan beside me, and they put the window down, so I put the window down and started talking to them. And they're like, I was like, that you's just starting me, and I'm fucking knackered. Probably wasn't saying that, probably, you know what I mean? I think I'm pretending I'm talking. But, and they're like, good luck to you, big man. I'm like, hey, I'll see you later on, put the window back up to get driving. Not only was there nabbed in the van, it wasn't even a Paul's van. You know what I mean? But I remember this so clear, and that was the point I went, I know, I fucking know. That was the point I went, I need to go and see somebody about this.
Is this the cocaine, aye?
I was a mix of that and the amount I was drinking, because I only drink whiskies or bourbons, or I only drink, you know what I mean? So, like when everybody else gets a beer, I've got 2 doubles. So it'll last me the same time it was last their beer, you know what I mean? That's just, it's where I've always been. If I was in the parks as I went, you know what I mean?
But you had quite a bit off. You had quite a wee while where you weren't.
That was
you were sober recent. For a while?
I was so 8 months. 8 months. That was the longest I've been sober if I was about 13-year-old.
Feel better?
Definitely was. I felt amazing. But it was last Wednesday. Don't get me wrong, right? So 2 weeks before that, me and the missus went away to like a wee cabin, and I was like, I'm going to need to test myself here. It was actually one time I was fucking praying, but like they say, when it's not just a big man listening when you're praying, it's him downstairs as well. And I just had this thought in my head. I was like, I'm going to need to. I don't think I've beat this addiction. The way the way it was perceived in my mind is that I've not beat this addiction. I'm just hiding for it. I'm going to need to try. I'm going to need to try and go on it to see if I can put it down and leave it. And that's what I did the first time. I took a litre of whiskey with me. I took a cut of gram with me. And I woke up the next morning, went to my bed at a reasonable time, which by the way helps when your missus comes in the lingerie. That helps, you know what I mean? No sitting there like a pure creep. But I woke up the next morning, there was still half a bottle of whiskey and there was fucking loads of gear left. It was just in the bin. It was after that, and I felt great about myself. Like, I've beat this addiction. So I thought, I'll just have one more night out, and then it was one more night out, and then I was like, right, I'm going to take time off for a while, and then I got the news last Wednesday, but I'm not going to be able to fight anymore. And I was in the gym when I got the news, and I walked home. As I'm walking home,
did you finish your session, or did you just?
I was in a session.
Oh,
I was actually waiting a PT client cancelled, but he cancelled it. It was just, that was my sign. I just walked, as I was walking home, pissing down a rain. I ended up soaking, just feeling sorry for myself, thinking I'm in a music video. You know what I mean? You had a bad day, and I'm walking there fucking drenched. Walked into Tesco. I bought a Gentleman Jack, took that. I went up the road and I just fucking sat. And then I was like, we're going out, so we went out. And
who's this, you and your missus?
I mean, the missus was like, we're going out. I just want to go and play a couple of games of pool, get my mind off it. And she's like, all right, okay, but it's not letting wild. And then we ended up in the casino at fucking 5, didn't we?
Is she quite supportive with you with it?
She has. She's brilliant with me. But she knows that I'm better off it than I'm on it. So, but that was then, and then, because, so, my mate Oscar, it was, he was running marathons and stuff at the start of the year. And then in March time, he stopped that and I got sober. So we've not done a night out this year. So we had a night out on Sunday there. And I've fucking spent everything. I'm meant to be going to Iceland next week, and I'm scraping at pennies, you know what I mean, to get a bus out to their podcast. I'm fucking pratted, you know what I mean? But it was just, I've reset my head, that I am sober app to track it. I've reset it. I reset it on Monday morning, and I was like, I'm back off it again. I'm not doing this shit.
And do you think that works better for you than just saying, like, I'll just maybe have one drink with you guys, or like that?
I need to be off altogether. I can't have one drink.
Because I didn't do
that.
I say this to, like, me and Paul went out for a couple of drinks. Now, as soon as we started, I was like, this is probably going to go too far. So I limit myself like 1-2 nights out a year. So the trick I use is I didn't drink in public. So like if we went out for lunch now, I wouldn't have anything to drink because I would just start drinking, and then before you know it, it's fucking. But now I could, like, I've had my night where we boot the arse out. I could have a whiskey the now and go, that was quite nice. I enjoyed that one, and no go again. Do you get what I mean? Like I could just have one, maybe two. I love drinking whiskey, mate. It's my favourite thing to drink, but I have these sort of like blowouts and then I'm fine again. And it, like, you see the way you said reset your app there, that's how I feel. I'm like, fuck, I was due that anyway. And so I didn't beat myself up about it. But I didn't go out drinking in public because it's just like I didn't mind doing it with you because you are a person who'll say, that's it now. It's time to go to bed. But I've got friends of mine who I couldn't do it with them. It just
3 days later, you're still on it.
Or arrested or fucking bother.
I'm just fucking master convincer. I get people that don't want to drink. So I'd become a fucking demon. See, when I start drinking.
Have you got like a friend group you go out with? Or is it just like your partner?
Both either or different mates. I'll just phone somebody, we're going out tonight. But I will only go out for a few. As soon as there's a few, it's like, you're lying to me as soon as you say it's a few.
Oh, aye.
Because we end up fucking.
I would know that.
Up at the casino at 6 in the morning. We're,
do you like a gamble as well, aye?
Aye, that's what
Still.
All the vices.
Every vice. If there's a vice,
is that your worst one? Gambling?
I don't think I've not had smack. I've not had the smack yet. I don't want it.
I don't, because it seems you'd be on. It seems like I'm going to complete smack.
I know.
Just once, Jay, you'll be all right.
Just the one.
But it's a.
The only reason I've not tried smack is I can't find my veins.
It's a crazy lifestyle in the world of combat sports. So we have these times where it's like maybe like 2 months, 3 months of camp, where you take away all the niceties, and then when it comes to the end of it, you lose your shit. For me, it's food.
But like, I fully believe you've got an eating disorder.
Oh, I've like, my eating disorders are terrible. It's really bad.
It's hard to believe. Like, if you've never seen it yourself, you'd find that amount of food hard to believe, eh?
I've got I binge, massively binge, regularly, all the time. And then I need something, like pretty much same as yourself, the app, I need something, and it's more accountability for the gym. Like I need to go to the gym 3 times a day. But I'm fueled with I need to beat this guy, or this guy's going to beat me, so I need to be on an extra day. I need to do an extra hour. And then I got overconsumed with training too much and running my body into a massive deficit. And then I'm like, how am I no well? Well, you've reduced calories, you're training too hard. Like, I've had to, like, people tell me, like, my conditioning coach, my nutritionist is like, stop running. You need to stop running. You're running too much. Like, I get obsessed with it, and then I start, like, I was doing training for a marathon, not because I was going to run a marathon, just because I want to. I was running countless 10Ks just for fun. Legs and everything are killing me. It's like it's the same as yourself. When we're in, aren't we? If it's alcohol, if
it was the same as the training there. I never even get told that I could get my license back, and I started training. I was 2-3 times a day. I was making less money.
But you
because
were
of the amount I was training.
Aye, but you were.
The brain was. I was eating in the brain because I was doing what I thought I had to do. I was running. And I was doing not really weights. I'm very old school with stuff. I'm going to start doing weights and I'm going to get fucking massive. That's the plan now.
You're a big guy now.
I don't do weights. I've just started
get on the old steroids. Get on the old
that.
steroids and then fucking just we'll see in like 6 months. Oh, boom.
I couldn't go on the steroids because I've seen firsthand what it does to people and it makes them angry, it makes them aggressive. And I'm the most placid guy you'll meet.
And does affect your brain. There's no two ways about it, mate. Anybody, they can sit there and say what they want, but they do.
Yeah. But see when you look like this, I get away with it. I get described once as scoofy. Right, and I love that. It's scary, and half goofy. Cause I'm scary looking, and then I start talking to you. Like,
well, I'll tell you a funny story in a minute once you finish it.
But see, if I was to look like this, and then I was to start, because I'm a cheeky cunt. I'm always a cheeky cunt. I slag people all the time. But see, if I was to start doing it with some venom behind it, I become a bully, and that would be my worst nightmare, is to become a bully to people.
So you were doing a bit of work at Liquid Rooms, and I wasn't there this night. I wasn't working. I can't imagine why. I was maybe away with you actually. And one of the guys phoned me, one of the doormen. He goes, Ross, that Jay's here. I was like, aye. He's slagging cunts off. He's slagging the doorman off and that. And I'm like, aye, what's he saying? Like, he's like, he's just kind of, sounds like he's having a laugh, but he's got a cowboy hat on with a pheasant feather in it. I don't know if he's like, is he taking a piss or what? I was like, mate, he's a nice guy. Eh? I'm like, he's just having a laugh with you. I was like, if he says something, say something back. And they went, are you sure? Aye. I'm like, I'm telling you, he's a nice guy. He's just having a laugh with you.
That's so funny. Because it must have been after that phone call when they started getting me parted back. Because I don't know if they were just scared.
Aye, they wouldn't. Because so somebody had messed with me. I was like, listen, I know he looks a bit alternative, but the guy can fight, so don't be cheeky. And they were like, he's being fucking cheeky at us. I'm like, no, he's having a laugh with you. I'm like, say it back. And they were like, it was quite funny. But
Scottish charm in it.
You're not a guy, you like you say, you've got a few vices and you like doing bits, but you're not out there fucking scrapping with cunts in the street, mate.
No, but no. Do
you know what I mean?
That's not me at all. That's not me at all, and that was what I would worry.
And that's the worst one.
That's what I would worry about if I was to go on the juice and go and fucking and a ball. You know what I mean? It's all balls at the end of it. If I was to go on the balls, I would be a nasty cunt.
I'd love to see you in like just the size here.
Crazy.
Like,
because I've got
as big as a door.
Because see, like there, like that, there's no much muscle there. That's my shoulder bone there. And you've only got about that on the side of it. Like, imagine that was like this. I'd be like fucking walking sideways through doors.
You'd be like Desperate Dan with a cowboy hat as well. Big Desperate Dan.
So where are you training now, Jay?
Well, I train and I work in Kinnan Park. I train in the Kinnan gym, the one you were saying, MTK. That's what the gym used to be called. The Kinnan gym. I train and I work in there and I just do bits.
If you still get your podcast as well? Still doing your Ghostcast?
I mean, I started it. That was just another thing that I went, I'm going to be a fucking, but I can talk with, I'm going to be a podcaster. And started it, I'd done 3 or something, and then I started I get let down by a couple of guests that couldn't turn up. And I was like, fuck this, man. So my whole spare room, I had a studio in my spare room, and that was the way I done it. And then I moved and I built a studio again, and I used it once, and I never posted the podcast because I was wanting to do a few of them. So I've got a podcast that's just sitting on YouTube that's not been posted, just ready for me to click post.
You definitely should get back on it and just tell your stories. And even if you don't need them to bounce off you, it's talking about the
I could see you doing one where you're just talking to the camera.
Tell them about your story, tell them about the boxing that's coming up, and just break that down. You don't need them to bounce off you. You're the guest. Like, that's why we're asking you to be on, because you're the guy with the stories. So you should just be doing your Ghostcast yourself. No, I love talking to you. I love catching up with you. It's been a while, but every time I do enjoy it, and I always find out something a bit mental about you. Fucking hell.
Are we going to see a bare knuckle fight?
I think so, mate.
How sure? Because I'll train you, like.
90.
That's high. 90's enough. 90's enough to say it's happening.
Do you know what? I had a guy that's an aspiring pro fighter that came up. He's from Birmingham, a guy called Brett. He was brand new. And I didn't realise he was a heavyweight and he was a big boy. And I went, if I knew I would have I've got a steel bar head guard so that eye doesn't get touched until I get my second surgery and I know everything's clear. That's the other thing I would need to wait on with the bare knuckle, is that my eye's all clear and I'm good to go. And if somebody touches
don't want
it, I'm
anything
not going to go
permanent.
blind, you know what I
Of
mean?
course,
That's the problem.
of
Because right now I
course.
can't see into the eye right now. I can see your figures.
But that's the fluid, isn't it? That's it's full of fluid.
Because there's a silicone oil in it, so the oil's over the cornea, so it's like a out of focus camera in a minute. But once you take that out, I'll know what my vision's going to be like and how safe the eye is and that. But
Is your vision going to be reduced?
that's the thing. So I done about 4 months of healing in the first 2 weeks of getting my surgery. And it was like, you look like you're ready. Your eye is healed. Like, I would be comfortable. Your eye actually looks better than the left eye. I'd be comfortable taking the oil right now, but he's not allowed to medically or whatever it was. Just, it has to be a certain period of time has to stay in. But I said to him, is my vision going to be better before than it was previous? Because obviously the scar tissue on the detached retina was like, some of this is up to 2 years old. Like the scar
Just
tissue.
long-term
You know what I
damage.
mean? So, and my thinking of that was, well, if they're fixing that, then if they just fixed that without the hole being in my eye, my vision would surely have been better. But I said that to him, and he was like, I was either eating my heart or eating my shoes, but he said that if it's better, it's better. That's how I know I don't think I would have passed that boxing medical again. Because my vision wouldn't have been there to pass the medical, you know what I mean? But I had that kind of accept in my own head, and I wanted to end terms my own things and have my last couple before the licence runs out, but fucking pricks took it off me, so.
So are you at peace with that?
I was when I could end it on my own terms, but see, because they've taken it off me, I'm not. But I had this guy up anyway. Doing just a one-to-one, just wanting to learn a few things, and I said to him, I would have done a bit of sparring, and I said, tell you what, I'll do a bit of body sparring, and that was when I decided. See, when I started moving about, it's the first punching I've done since I fought. I started moving about and just cutting me angles and showing him a few things just hitting to the body, and that was when I was quite sad after it, because I realised I'm going to be able to box again, and that was the thought came in my head that I'm definitely going to do this bare knuckle. Voice cracked when I said that there,
No,
but
it's
I'm
all
definitely
right.
going to do the bare knuckle.
As fighters, it's hard to walk away from the sport, isn't it?
It is.
It's even harder when somebody's taking it away from you.
Well, that was that. I kind of accepted that I wasn't going to box again when I knew I was ending on my terms, when I was going to have my last fight. So the amateur kids I train, I'm really invested in it. I train 5-6 times a week, I think I train them now. Because I've started putting on additional classes for learning different things, and so they really progress, because I care about them. I've built a good connection with the fighters that I've got, but they were going to run a pro-am show. There was going to be amateur fighters on, so I had all my kids that I train on. All my guys, they're not all kids. Some fucking couple of them are older than me.
You can, that's all right, man.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
My kids that I train, I was going to have them on, and then I was going to have my last ever fight, and it would have been a great transition for me then just to become a coach. And then because I get taken away from me, it just fucking sent me off in that spiral for a start, which I'm over now unless you open that whiskey, but I'm not going to. I'm only kidding.
I'm not opening it, mate.
I'm not kidding. But
I have enough of my own problems without having to share yours.
but it was going to be a good transition for me to go into the coaching and become a coach. And I was going to get the pro coaching badges and start seeing if there was any pros or pro trainers that I could then second and start to build my way up that way. And because I think that's in the long game, that's what my true calling is. Because I've been in the sport for nearly 20 years. You know what I mean? And I know inside and out. I've been in with the best. I've been trained with the best. I've been in about everywhere. I've been in every gym in the UK. I was training in fucking Ingle gym for a while, you know what I mean? When I was down in Doncaster, training through Sheffield, and I've learned so much, and I've got so much to give back. I know I can make a fighter a lot better than I ever was.
Well,
you know what I mean?
you've made some mistakes, and then you can pass
And I know how that's it.
you can steer these young guys into saying,
Well, that's it as well.
this
I know that I
direction.
can save people from making the mistakes that I've done, and I think that's one of the fucking best things you can do just as a person.
Is there guilt attached to this? You feel a bit guilt?
A bit of guilt that I wasted an opportunity that I had, that I know a lot of people didn't have, that worked harder than me. Because like you were saying earlier on about, it doesn't just happen, it fucking just happened. It just happened. It all just happened so fast. Everything happened at the one time. And I got opportunities that guys have trained so fucking hard to get, and I fucked them. You know what I mean? Whereas there is a bit of guilt with that. Because I know there's a lot of There's a lot of guys in boxing out there that I'll have all the time in the world for, but they'll fucking hate me because I get to say a boxer's Madison Square Garden. I get to say I stole the show at the Hydro. I get to say that I've done this. I get to say that I've done that. And I was a fucking fat alky, you know what I mean? They trained hard. They've got a six-pack all year round. They're solid, you know what I mean? And they were dedicated and I wasn't. So I know there's a lot of people out there that just dislike me for that. And if that's the case, I apologise. But I didn't mean for it to be that way. I was just fucking lost in moments in time and just shit just happens, man.
Did you have somebody to look up to showing you the blueprint and saying, Jay, this has got to stop? Or were you just, like you say, it just happened, there was no one in front of you to go like, this is the road, stick to this, do this, do this, do this, you'll be fine? Or did you have someone doing that and you ignored their advice?
No, but I had many people tell me, oh, you can't be doing this, just dedicate for your wee style. I had loads of people tell me that, but I never really had that one set person that would do that. It's just something I never had. I had a fucking, obviously I had a mad childhood, though you keep calling me Jamaican Jay. Because it was, my mother got fucking taken away and put in a prison in the Dominican because her man at the time was trying to smuggle drugs. So me and my wee brother ended up in an orphanage over there, and then we lived with our grandparents, and they're just a slightly different generation. So you're talking like a lot of my ideas were all raised myself, not that kind of way, you know what I mean? I done my own thing. I never had somebody guiding me there because my dad was also away at one point, and then he came back, and then it was just, he lives through, I think he's cow and beef now. I was just at his wedding last week. But I've just had such a hectic childhood that I never had any guidance at all. I just done my own thing, you know what I mean? It was always my own thing. And only really listened to myself.
You're a bit used to the chaos, eh?
I'm used to the chaos.
Living the chaos.
When I start getting into self-destruct mode, it's often in times of peace. That's when it is.
You need it.
I need a bit of fucking madness. Something.
I like the Nietzsche one, eh?
We found that with the vast majority of fighters that we've dealt with. Their childhood wasn't your standard go to school, enjoy school, your parents, a stable relationship.
There's no many fighters that have got a trust fund.
No,
you know what I mean?
no, they're certainly not. It's like we're in this sport because, and the vast majority of people that we've spoke to have said, oh, I went to the gym looking for a father figure. I went to the gym looking for these coaches as an adult role model. And it's the same theme that's coming up in everybody's.
Every cunt's hurting, eh?
That was one of the things that kind of put me in a bit of a path at one point. Because I did have that. I had that with old Bert Watt, who used to train me. He started training me in his late 70s, but he died in his early 80s. God rest him. But he was that guy for me. I trained like fuck when I was young. I was a fucking animal.
Because of this guy.
Because of this guy. And when he died, I was like, I'm still going to box. I've learned that. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I never trained like that for anybody else. And I just kind of darted about and done my own thing. And I was fucking Jay untrainable for a while. You know what I mean? That was what I was kind of labelled as. You can't train him. He doesn't listen. He just does his own thing. But I never listened because it was Neil Bert telling me what today. You know what I mean? It was, That was a sad point in time because I was wasting a lot of talent that I had.
What age would you be at that point?
I think it was 15 maybe. Don't get me wrong, I was still going out and I was still drinking at it.
That's a rough age to try and get the best out of a young man, eh? To be honest. That age is tough, man. I've got a son that 13 and it's hard getting him to do anything. He's grown up in a nice house, mate. Like he's not grown up in a chaotic house. It's hard to get him to, so for yourself it was probably considerably harder, eh?
It was, but I know I'd been through worse, so I never looked at it that way. It's only been a wee bit later on and I think back to it and I go, that fucking really affected me. That's when I think, but again, what I was saying about just being in that moment at that time, it was just normality. Everything was normality. I was doing things as normal. But just a wee bit sadder, you know what I mean? It was that's not the way I was thinking down the line, this is going to affect you this way or this is going to affect you that way, but it obviously did. And you know what I mean, it's hindsight's 20/20 vision, you know what I mean? You can just fucking a lot better than mine anyway.
So see, as you're saying that and you're like, you've got an opportunity to help the next generation of young amateur and professional boxers. You're still relatively young in this sport.
Yeah.
Could you not as you're saying, you're going to try and inspire these next guys. You can inspire yourself. You've still got. I was 25 when I first started doing MMA. I'm not saying MMA is your sport, but I'm saying you've still got a lot left to give in this sport.
Loads.
Aye, and it's like
You've spoke like the book's over.
Aye, the book's
You're
over.
not even a fucking...
Mate, you're only halfway through it. There's still a lot of chapters you've still got to write, and
I know it's because my sport was boxing. That's why it feels like the book's shut.
but then that boxing book hasn't closed. You can still get your license. It's no. I know you're saying like, oh, I won't be able to pass the medical. There's, I'm sure there's worse boxers. There's boxers out there who've got worse vision than yourself. I think it's one of these things where it's. I do believe we'll see you back in a boxing ring with boxing gloves under the professional rules. I do believe that. Like,
I hope so.
The good cunts find a way through, mate.
aye.
It's,
And you've found your way up to this point without any MD leading you the way. So I don't think it's over, man. Very far from it. And if you decide to go boxing, BKB, if you decide to do MMA, if you decide to do tiddlywinks, man, like there's a whole host of guys out there who are going to be behind you 100% of the way.
And I think if it was going to go catastrophically wrong, like something quite permanent happening, that would have happened by now. And I'm not wanting to lead into another conversation about that because it's pretty dark, but I think you've obviously got enough of a grip on yourself that you're still going to kick forward here, eh? You're not just going to, do you know what, fuck it, mate, I'm getting back on the drink and the drugs. I'm not going to train the kids anymore. Put loads of time into the kids, but do you know what, fuck it. You're not going to do that.
No, I'm not.
You're not going to do that, mate.
No.
Like, I can tell by just the way you spoke about them.
Why I've reset this timer to show myself that I'm not going back to that. I'm not going back to that and fucking ruining my home life and ruining everything about me because I have got these guys rely on me now. You know,
And it's going to come to the point where you're going to look for kids yourself. You're going to look to. You've got the rest of your life in front of you. And
no, I know.
I do believe it's going to be a very eventful couple of years for you up and coming, regardless of what the sport is you're going to do. But I know we've obviously taken a lot of your time and we really appreciate it, man. Is there anywhere the guys can catch you? Social media? Ghostcast as well. Hopefully see that back.
Ghostcast, we'll ever get that back at one point. I might just take your advice and just start talking shit.
Yeah, I'll come in and sit in your fucking room with you.
So you need to just tell some of your stories. Just for your childhood to your like some of the best stories I've got is for growing up, and they're no the 2.4 kids in this nice house, and that's what makes our stories so funny. Like when Craig's like, "Oh, tell a story about your dad." Like I think it's just normal, but it's no normal to everybody else. Yeah. So when you're growing up, you're like, I know this, but people want to hear that. Yeah. So you should definitely get the Ghostcast going again.
But on Instagram, Jay McFarlane on Instagram. I don't know what I'm else. I think I'm Ghost McFarlane on TikTok. I don't really use it. I mean, I go on and I watch stupid reels on Instagram, and that's pretty much all I do. And people go, "Oh, well, you never shared this, you never done that." I was like, mate, I have got about 200 messages that I've never opened. Some of them are like sponsors offering me money.
You should
definitely message them back, mate. We're fucking Iceland to go to next week.
I'm fucking skinning it.
You looking forward to your Iceland trip, decompress, see the family, and then come back?
I can't wait. I'm buzzing to go over. Well, the thing is, I don't speak Icelandic, and I know for a fact they're all talking about me. So.
I lived in Sweden for a bit. It's hard as fuck. You wouldn't learn it anyway. It's hard as fuck.
Sorry, man, I'm struggling with fucking Spanish. Fucking proper struggling, you know what I mean? I think it's because obviously I speak with a Glaswegian accent, but I've got quite an eloquent way of talking. I'm not a fucking.
No, you're no slang. You speak well, mate.
And I speak well, and I've got an extensive vocabulary when I speak. It's not just that I'm fucking this and fucking that. Don't get me wrong, I swear a lot. But see, because I have got quite a good master over English language, it's hard to learn another without going back to. I struggle with it. I wish I'd done it when I was younger.
Did you do the Duolingo?
Oh, I did.
Me too, mate. It's hard as fuck.
Mega streak on it. I've spent a fortune.
How long? Like?
See, I only started at the start of the year. I'm at 260 or something.
I'm not.
I decided I'm going to learn to speak Spanish. I know, como estás? No, but actually, funny enough, I was in Malaga tapas the other week, and I made a wee waiter shite himself. It's because it's a Spanish restaurant, and the Asian guy came out to serve, and he's like, "What can I get you?" I was like, "Don't know hablo español." He's like,
and he doesn't speak any Spanish.
Vasos de agua, por favor. And he's like, if pure shook, now I'm bowing you up, man. He's went, "Oh, fuck me, man." real shat yourself. But that was quite fun to do that. I want to do more of that. I'm going to Spain in March actually, so I'm need to properly go into Duolingo. But Duolingo teaches you shite.
Nah, it's all
You know
right,
what I
mate.
mean? I don't dare step biblioteca. I'm looking for a fucking bar in the library. You know what I mean?
Mate, I'm still at dog and cat. I'm still on the dog and the cat.
Duolingo, I want Duolingo to
I'm miles behind.
tell me where the gear is. Not Duolingo's
The
not
scheme
gonna do
version
that.
of Duolingo.
Hi, Duolingo's not going to turn around. Can I buy some cocaine, por favor?
Well, that's universal.
Coca-Cola.
Yo quiero pagar cocaína, por favor. That's exactly
Sounds
how
about
it
right.
is, by the way. I think it is. I might have made that up. But
So Ghostcast in Spanish is what you're going for next time.
that's what I'm trying, mate. I'll try.
Listen, I really appreciate your time, man. It's been some stories, some stuff I didn't know about you, but man, really appreciate the time.
Enjoyed that.
And,
Thank you, mate.
as always, guys, hope you enjoyed it and keep it high.